What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be talking about my Glitch Infinite run, and I'm going to be here joined with Charles.
What up? What up? So, congrats! You won
Thank you,
Glitch
thank you,
Infinite.
appreciate it.
You
My
were the
first major
seed.
win.
Your first major
I
win.
was first.
First major win being the first seed, though. I think there's a lot of pressure going into a tournament with first seed. I know you mentioned earlier that you didn't think you should have been first seed, right?
I thought Light should have been first seed.
Right. So, I think that's fair. But nonetheless, you still pulled through, and I guess we just want to kind of go over your bracket. I have the bracket pulled up here. I know you said you fought an Inkling player in pools that was unseeded, and that was actually like pretty close, right?
Yeah, their name was Civ. I was really scared because I actually play them sometimes on Yuzu, which is like the main form of practice that I do whenever I'm not at tournaments or locals or anything. So I already knew that they were pretty good, and I was surprised that I was playing them round 2 of pools, and then they were like, yeah, I guess I was just unseeded, but good luck though. I was like, well, shit. This is gonna be stressful round 2. But I already assumed that pools were going to be stressful because I heard that Light was struggling to make it out of his pools playing against a Little Mac, and I heard that a lot of players were drowning. So I was like, yeah, this is probably going to be one of those tournaments where there's going to be a lot of good players just early on in bracket. So yeah, after that, pools outside of that, pools weren't really that stressful. It was just really that one set.
Right. And then DM was actually your first round in round 2. Yeah, your first opponent in round 2. How was that? I know you said you went Steve, I believe.
Yeah, he went Steve. I was actually expecting the Pikachu at first, so I was mentally preparing for that. And then when he went Steve, I was like, I got hit by like a wave. I was like, oh, because like every tournament, I'm just kind of hoping that I avoid Steve because I haven't really practiced to Steve matchup. I feel like everybody's hoping they avoid Steve because like it's a completely new archetype of character that you have to really like dive into and grind to learn against. Like you already knew that like a long time ago. I didn't know anything about Steve because I asked Steve for help about Steve, and I still honestly right now don't know that much. I just know that like Steve can't really do much against Mithra, so I kind of just relied on that in the matchup. So I also got a lot of really early kills against him, so I had a lot of leverage early game because I got a lot of early kills early game, so I could just like use that as a cushion to not be as worried in the set.
Right. And like even me giving you like baseline information on Steve, you still have to experience it, right? Like you can like say all the things you want, but you have to go through the motions and all that stuff. So I feel like most top players aren't gonna really start doing that until now, because now they're starting to see that Steve players have the capability of breaking into the top 8. Obviously with Jake this tournament, which was with a pretty crazy run. So now top players have to care instead of just
now we gotta learn the matchup.
Yes.
Now
instead of hoping that like, I just hope I don't run into one early. Right now
there were so many Steves at that tournament.
Yeah,
it was like impossible
like 3 or 4 in top 32 or something like that. There was like quite a bit in the. Like,
it was almost impossible not to run into a Steve if you're a top player.
And then after that, you played Enhanced.
I did play Enhanced. It was actually funny because Enhanced does this one thing where like, because it actually happened at the comeback, if you remember that tournament. I had to play him there too.
Okay.
And right before I played him, I actually didn't know who he was. So he was like, yo, do you want a money match? I'm like, I'm kind of just practicing right now. And then so maybe later. And then the next day I found out I had to play him. I was like, were you trying to money match me to download me, bro? Or like is that what we're doing? And so that set was really close. It was like game 3 last hit. And then this tournament he did the same thing the day before. He was like, yo, do you want a money match? And I was like, yo, I feel like I remember this guy from somewhere, but like I can't really put my tongue on it or something. So I was like, oh shit. I had to play him again in bracket. I was like, wait, did you really ask me to money match again? He was like, yeah. And then it was just a really funny situation. But outside of that, I was pretty confident playing against him because he plays Cloud, and I actually, especially after Smash World Tour, after playing Spargo, I knew how to play against Cloud, but I also knew that I had to practice a lot more against Cloud, so I practiced a lot against Cloud after Smash World Tour, so I was really confident going to that matchup too. So it wasn't really like anything that was really stressful. He did get a lot of early kills against me, but I was able to edge guard him pretty well and just take the set that way.
Yep. Cloud's recovery is trash. So speaking of trash recoveries, your next opponent was Send, right? Ness?
Yeah. Ness's recovery isn't that bad.
I think it's better than Cloud's. For sure.
Yeah, it's definitely better than Cloud. Just because of how good his air dodge is.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I was playing against Sen. He was one of the players I was probably. I wasn't really stressed. I mean, you're always stressed every tournament. Every player is stressed, but like I wasn't really as stressed this tournament in general, just because like I kind of went. It's been like 2 months since I've been to a tournament, so I kind of just went into it with the mindset of like I just want to like go through this tournament and see what I have to practice afterwards. And I still know what I have to practice now, even though I won. So, but Sen is one of the players I was more worried about than anybody else that was in my bracket path. Because at Riptide, I think the last time I played a Ness at a major was Riptide, and I lost to what's his name, Atada, maybe. I'm not sure if it was Atada. I think it was Atada though.
Atada,
But I lost to
like those are like the.
Yeah, I lost to one of the Nesses, and I was kind of just like confused on how I was supposed to deal with him just throwing out so many hitboxes, because that's what all Ness mains do, because they have really good frame data. They can just cover themselves with a lot of like nairs and just landing hitboxes. So I was playing against Sen. I just decided that I'm just going to like not really try to whiff punish, because it's really hard to whiff punish Ness because of his end lag being really low. So I was gonna try to like wait until he commits a lot and like commit with like forward air and like punish his animation lag instead of his landing lag instead, and then get him into disadvantage and keep him in disadvantage for as long as I could. And that pretty much is the story of how this entire set went the entire time, because Ness in disadvantage is not great because his double jump isn't that great in disadvantage.
He has good
doesn't have big hitboxes.
That's about it. Like his air is like solid, but that's pretty much
yeah. One of the moves he likes to use to get out of disadvantage is Side Magnet, but Pyra and Myth both have really big hitboxes too, where like they can just space around it and hit you without getting hit by Side Magnet anyways.
Right. And stalling doesn't.
And I just got.
It's like, oh well, you're still up there. Like I have a.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much what happened during that set. I actually SD'd a lot that set, but I still brought it back because I was just very confident.
Yeah, and I mean that's a pretty worry. Like Send is the best NA Ness, right? So if you lost to like,
he's really good.
Right, if you lost to someone that was Ness that wasn't Send at Riptide, pretty worrisome. Also, Gact was at this tournament too, so just like the best Nesses were out here, right? So, and then you have to fight Mugen, who actually upsetted a ton of players. So shout out to Mugen, really solid run.
I've always thought he was really, really good. Like even since like, because I've seen a lot of clips of him playing in Smash 4 too, and I'm like, yeah, this Roy is like on something. I just never see him go to any tournament. Yeah, he's the OG, bro, the old goat. But I've always seen clips of him, and I'm like, yeah, this Roy is just always on something. I feel like if he just goes to majors consistently, he'll get that confidence to start doing well. And I feel like since he started going to more tournaments, because he was at main stage, I'm pretty sure. I think that's the last tournament I saw him at. Just going to more tournaments gives you more confidence when you're going to bigger tournaments. So I feel like since he's been going to more tournaments, he's been doing really well lately, just like as well as he should be doing, because he's a really good player. So I was just as worried to play him as I was to play Send, because I actually wasn't I didn't see him anywhere in the bracket. I actually didn't even know that he was going to the tournament, because I didn't really look too much at bracket. I just saw who I had to play in winners, and he wasn't in my path at all. So that means he had to upset a lot of players to make it to me. So
I can go through them. He upsetted EU Leon, Solarly Eon, and then he upsetted Tilde.
Yeah, that's why I was supposed to play.
He also beat Pele before Tilde, but like
that's good too.
So those are like the main upsets for him.
Yeah, and I know that he plays and like talks a lot with like Cola too, so they like trade tech and like help each other out a lot. And Cola's really good too, so it makes sense why like he would be able to do well at tournaments whenever Cola's there too, to like help him out with matchups and everything. But I was playing him. Roy's also one of the characters that I feel like I wouldn't say that Pyramith go even or lose, but it's like even if it's winning, it's one of the harder winning matchups that I have to play against, because Roy's one of the faster characters and has good enough range to deal with like good enough range to deal with Pyra, and good enough speed to keep up with Mithra, which is why it's like it's not like something that I can just call a free matchup essentially. It's still good for Pyra because Roy off stage is like really bad, and like up B kind of like just destroys Roy. But whenever Roy gets stuff started, it's really hard for Mithra to like contest him.
Yeah, that makes
Which
sense.
is the same like vice versa. So I just tried to what the main thing I did in the matchup was like I don't think he's that good at the Pyramithra matchup. I kind of just abused Nair because he wasn't really shielding Nair at all. So I would just like Nair his shield and he would just drop shield and then I would just like advantage state him after that. So that's pretty much how the entire matchup went. I would die really early oftentimes, but I wasn't really worried because I knew that I could always just bring him back by getting him into advantage state.
Yeah, and then after that, you're in top 8 winner side. You're going up against the Buzz. The Sora came out game 1. Were you like
Sora game?
Were you worried?
I wasn't surprised. No, because before I think before pools, Light and I were in the VIP room and we were practicing friendlies. The Buzz came and was like, "Yo, do you mind if I join?" I was like, "Sure." And then we were playing. I was playing his Olimar. I was doing pretty well, and then he was like, "Yeah, I feel like this matchup, I might honestly want to try Sora." So he tried Sora a couple games, and he was doing all right. It was still like Sora couldn't land because his disadvantage is just as bad as Ness's. Neutral was pretty good, and as you can see, like when I was playing him in neutral, his Sora in neutral, he was doing pretty well because like Sora still has good enough hitboxes and lingering hitboxes to like contest Pyra and Mithra. I think he honestly, I'm not gonna say that he should have stayed Sora because his Olimar was doing well afterwards, like starting game 3, and he almost did the reverse 3-0. But even if he stayed Sora, I would have agreed with it because the only reason why the game went so bad for him is because I got a really early kill, like 60% with the forward air off stage, and he was like, he was holding away, so he just died really extremely early.
Even the second stock, you killed him like around 100% after the hit. Like you just hit a pirate there, and it's
like really early
Sora because like you have to go to ledge, but like even though Sora has a great recovery distance-wise, the fact that like
it's very telegraphed.
It's very telegraphed. Like after you up B, you have to side B left or right, and then after like only straight left or right. There's no mix-up there, and then after that, I mean like side B is really good, and sometimes you can kind of like Lucina / Marth people, where like the side B kind of like hitbox kind of comes by the ledge and hits you, so you got to respect it. But Pyra doesn't like have to respect that, and you just have so much range. And since Sora's recovery takes so much time, you have all the time in the world to like switch to Pyra and be like, all right, wait, there's the up B, side B1, all right, here, hit side B2. You know what I mean? Like, so that.
And it's like even like his up B takes a long time to finish, so it's like you can just go out there and spike him when he's up being because it doesn't go that far. And it like lasts 60 frames or something. It lasts a while.
Right.
So.
Right. And the only thing you do afterwards is side B anyway, right? And so you could hit the startup of side B too, right? Like because there is a startup to that move. So it's got like similar. No, I'm thinking about something else. But like essentially, it's very, especially if you have a disjoint on the bottom, right? Like Pyrodare or something like that. That is like not free, but
it's rough. Yeah. It's free. It's free. Yeah, his Olimar was doing really well. His Olimar was doing really well. I know that the Buzz doesn't know, or he thinks all of his characters loses to Pyra Mithra, but I know that he's talked to Myron and other Olimars, and I know Myron thinks that Olimar either wins or goes even against Pyra Mithra, or something like that. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Myron's crazy. It's like you already know, but I that's given him. Yeah, I mean it. He's shown it. Like I think he's beat. Yeah, he beat me at Riptide actually. Myron beat me at Riptide. So I wouldn't be surprised that that's what his opinion is. So that's why like I wasn't surprised that the Buzz stayed with Olimar and probably got a lot of more information from Myron on how to play the matchup probably, and like was doing really well in it.
So then you fight Zombo in winners finals, and I'm not gonna lie, even when I was commentating like the first half of top 8, I said it. I was like, Zombo looks like he's gonna win the tournament, like in terms of like how he's playing. And then he 3-0s.
He was playing crazy, bro. He destroyed Gat. He looked, bro. He looked, and it was crazy. It was crazy because I think Gat played Cola. Gat played Cola before that. And I was like, yo, Gat is making Cola looking like a round 1 pools match. Yeah. That's how good Gat is playing. And then Zomba played Gat. I was like, yo, Zomba is making Gat look like a round 1 local player right now. Right. He double 2 stocked him and then 3 stocked him. That's how bad it was.
Yes.
Well, he actually didn't two. He actually didn't two stock the last game because he just upbeat it, or he just took the upbeat hit and just died.
Right.
But it was basically a 3 stock. So that's how good Zombo was playing. So I was like, I was honestly excited. I was excited because I was like, I was kind of not upset, but I was like, well, I mean, Tweak, Leo, Spargo aren't here. It's not, that doesn't mean it's not going to be a hard tournament, but it's like, it's not like that level of tournament where I'm like, all right, I have to get through all these players and then I have to play Tweak, Leo, or Spargo. But it looked like I was like, all right, right now I have to get through all these players and then I have to play Zombo. Zombo was pretty much in that tier at that moment in my mind, which I honestly think when I played him, that made me have a little bit too much respect for him when I was playing, and I was playing a little bit too nervous, and I was playing too fast. I was playing faster than I could keep up with myself because I was like, he's playing really well, so I know I can play that well, so I have to make sure that I can keep up with how he's playing. So that's what in my mind triggered me to play faster than I feel like I usually do and feel like I usually need to. So that's, I feel like, why I felt like he was playing really well, obviously because he's been playing well the entire day or the entire weekend, but I also feel like I wasn't playing as well as I usually was, or as I was the entire tournament.
Yeah, and in Grands, I feel like we really saw that because if someone's playing faster than you, there's two things you can do. You can try to match the speed. I guess there's 3. You could match the speed, you could try to outspeed them, or you can slow the pace down. And I think you definitely started slowing things down. It started going back to more fundamental stuff against Rob because you were slowing things down. It's like, oh, okay, instead of like chasing Rob down in the air, I can like go to where he's going to land, because if I give Rob enough space, they will feel very comfortable cranking the nair. And then, if your character has, not every character has good options out of parry against Rob nair, but you're Mithra, so you do. Like Mithra, Fox, Sheik, like any like quick speed character, Diddy, right? You're gonna have like really good solid tilts out of parry that are very quick combo starters, and you could just deal like 50, 60 damage. Like you started parrying Zombo nair, and then like 50, 60 damage advantage state, right? And I think you also did a really good job of just like not getting hit by like Zombo's back airs or just like KO moves in general. That's
one thing I was actually really focused on. Yeah, I like the one thing. I think it was because there was some YouTube video, I think from like, I forget, but it was talking, it was talking about like Zomba's back airs. So I was like, all right, next time I play him, that's the thing I'm gonna avoid. That's the only thing I'm gonna look at. And then first I was still getting hit by like all of it. Was like, damn it! Because there's this one thing that I learned is like, if you focus really hard on one thing, trying not to mess up one thing, it's more likely that you'll actually mess up that one thing than not mess it up. So it's like, since I was focusing on that, tunneling on it too much, it like made it really hard for me to like not, it made me more stressed about getting hit by it, which in turn made me play worse to where I would get hit by it, essentially.
Right.
So in Grands, I wasn't thinking about it as much. I was just thinking like, let me just play how I usually play. Let me just try to play the best that I possibly can and play slow it down and just stick to my my fundamentals, because that's essentially what I did at Smash World Tour when I played against him. Even in Smash World Tour, the first that I played him, I wasn't playing as well either, because he was also playing really well at that tournament too. I was like, it was the same thing where I was like, I have to match his level of play. I still won though, because I think he just got better recently. He's just been getting really, really good recently. So I was still able to just beat him with like how I was playing then, and then even when I played him in losers, I was playing better, so I beat him even harder. But here he's gotten better, and I know he's been thinking about like ways to play against Pyramid. I also know that he's been thinking about different characters too, which is why I'm not surprised that he went Link in the matchup. But his Rob is really, really good. It's definitely the best Rob I've ever played so far.
Yeah. I think at this point it's fair to say like Zombo at the bare minimum is the best solo Rob. I know you could probably make an argument for like I don't know how much Zachary still plays Rob, but for sure the best solo Rob. And Zachary doesn't play Rob in every matchup. I mean, Pyramith, I give a lot of props to Zombo. He's improved a lot, and he was playing a matchup that's pretty difficult for Rob. I think Pyramith would do very well.
It might have been it might be his worst matchup, honestly, if not one of their worst
one
matchups.
Of his worst like top tier matchups. I don't like Rob usually like bulldozes through low tiers, so I'm assuming so. I don't know like if he's like Diddy where he has like these weird mid tiers that like do really well versus him. You know what I mean? But Yeah, for sure, probably
Yeah.
one of his worst top tier matchups.
And like Rob is also probably one of my most practiced matchups too. Like I like to say that I'm really good at the match because I used to practice with Benny a lot back then, and then even now I still practice against MJ a lot. And he's still really good too, but like even like it doesn't matter how good the Rob is, essentially at some point it's still Rob, and when you have Rob in disadvantage state, Rob is big. Yep. He's still gonna deal with a lot of the big character problems.
And I guess like the last thing we can close it up with is your losers finals against Jake. So in the future we are gonna do just like a Steve discussion. Probably try to bring some Steve players and you guys could discuss that. But I mean, like for you, you said you didn't have too much Steve experience. How was it like for you, kind of like learning on the spot, right? Like Jake isn't the most technical Steve, right? So I think for you it was the main things were probably just like trying to somewhat keep track of metal, get used to Jake did bring footstool dare to the table, so that was one thing everyone had to respect, his out of shield, or he would just like run up and do it. And
I think he should have done against me more, because especially if he knew that I was going to nair on shield on him, he could definitely do that pretty well.
So so for you, what were the main tools you were dealing with, right? Because there's so much with Steve. Like there's the anvil you got to kind of figure out, the TNT setups, the blocks, all that stuff. I guess don't go like super in depth about it, but what were like the main tools you felt like you had to adjust to?
Yeah, I mean the main thing I felt like the main thing I was looking at, because I actually talked to Larry about this earlier at like a tournament a while back when I had to play Yachty, and I was like, yo, what do I do against Steve? He was like, just watch out for minecart. It's like, all right. That's all he told me, and it helped a lot, honestly, because I lost to Yanni in winners, and then I asked him that, and then he told me that, and then I beat Yanni in losers.
That's like the main move.
So,
it feels like, right?
Yes. That's their main go-to option whenever they're like far away from you and want to approach you. So I was just looking out for a minecart, but even the first two games, my main game plan was to like rush him down so that he couldn't mine at first, but that wasn't working. So I was like, all right, let me just like slow down, because even if he mines a lot, if he can't hit me with his tools, it probably doesn't really matter. So that he like gets like diamond and everything. So I'm just gonna like bait him, because I was getting baited by his mining a lot. Like he would mine, and then I would try to approach him and punish him, and he would just spot dodge or jump away and just like punish me for it and get like 60 or something. So I just tried to bait. I try to bait his baits essentially, and just bait him for like trying to bait me and punish him and get him in disadvantage. And Steve doesn't really have the best disadvantage, especially if he doesn't have like a lot of his tools or what
materials and
all. Like if he doesn't have iron, it's really hard for him to land or anything. So that's pretty much what I focused on, and that's what I started realizing after game 2 when I lost. I was like, yeah, I'm playing too fast, let me just play slower, and that's essentially what led me to set.
Nice. Pacing is a big deal. So, I mean, there you have it. So that's going to pretty much wrap it up for us here. Thank you, Cosmos, for taking the time to go over your bracket.
Of course.
Congratulations on the W.
Thank you.
This is your first like major ultimate win, right?
This is my first major ultimate one. Yep.
Yeah.
The other biggest tournament I won was last chance qualifier, but that wasn't really a major. It was still local, low key. But yeah, this is my first.
It was stacked. It was a stacked.
It was stacked.
Like I would call that more of like a regional level kind of thing. Regional type beat. All right, so that'll be it for us. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you guys think about Cosmos's run through glitch, some of the matchups he had to face off against, and until next time, we'll see you guys later.
Yep. Peace.